first of all, I want to ask, of course, about your perspective. We're here in Asia and the beautiful city of Manila in the Philippines. How do you see, the Asian gaming market different from the Western gaming in terms of, the regulatory environment?
Yes. The main difference is that regulations in Western has been long achieved. Like for example, the MGA and the UK has been long
Yeah.
established. So the regulations are very clear and concise, and compliance is in full there. With regards to Asia, there are still markets which need to be regulated. Um, for example, we just seen the Philippines from an offshore license, they went to a regulated local market. They made in the first 3 months more than 1.5 billion in revenue. So that economic growth might interest other Asian countries to follow suit and go into regulated markets.
Right. And now speaking about the region, it's a big region. But what markets, are there specific markets that you're seeing that, has a big potential for iGaming?
Yes, there are obviously Asia, as you just said, is very, very big. The population is big. Recently, there have been an interest in Timor Leste. It's launching
Yeah.
today or tomorrow. They are going to launch their regulations and their licensing process. However, it is an offshore jurisdiction.
Yeah.
It's not a local
Mm-hmm.
license. There are many speculations still if it's going to be like the MGA with full regulatory framework, or else like the former Curaçao with a master license and sub-license, which apparently is going that way. And then for non-offshore and more local licenses, we are seeing Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
They just launched their framework, but we have to see how these regulations are and they are going to affect their market. There is talks about Thailand, but it's a bit far for now. And and there's something Indonesia, Vietnam. Indonesia is still very, very far, but Vietnam is more closer. But we have to
Okay.
see because obviously what we are discussing today it may change tomorrow
That's true.
because this
That's true.
industry is very, very versatile.
All right. How about, the Middle East, UAE opening or Japan? How are you seeing those markets?
UAE has just opened for B2B, especially.
Mm-hmm.
For B2C, is still a bit restricted. They are giving the B2Cs to very, very big companies which are investing in local business and casinos there. But it is very interesting this shift because we never imagined that a totally Muslim country will open gaming.
Yeah.
Like this. So, but we have to wait and see what's happening. Apparently, even Saudi Arabia is going to follow suit, but it's still a long way to go. So yes, yes. So the gaming industry is shifting and it's
Yeah.
evolving every day.
And Asia in particular, there are a lot of narratives happening. And as you've mentioned, we may be talking to about a specific country or jurisdiction right now, and
Yeah.
then later on something will change, and hopefully something really good for the industry. Now, I want to ask your thoughts on the cultural difference on the Asian market and the Western market, and how do you think should gaming companies from Western should adapt their portfolios or products for the Asian market.
Yes, the cultural difference is a very, very huge topic, big topic to talk about
Yeah.
because it's not it's not Asia. It's every country in Asia has different cultural differences, everything is different, you know. And for example, I have a Taiwanese
Mhm.
client,
Oh, okay.
and we needed who came to the West to get licenses from the West, not the other way around. And when we were doing the KYC checks, we noticed that the name on his passport is different from the name of his birth certificate, but not like a slight change.
Yeah.
It was a completely different name. And we asked the client to provide us more information, and he told us because in Taiwan we can change our name legally for 3 times. And I changed my name because that name brought bad luck. So this is like one of the cultural difference that, and we're like shocked, but we cannot go to the regulator and tell him, listen, our client changed his name because of bad luck. So then we had to to contact a law firm from Taiwan, check if this is true, check the regulations, and then we submitted a declaration to the regulators. So yes, so then European and Western. And Western operators should see the culture differences. There are games that might not be so popular in Asia. There are
Yeah.
games in Asia which are very popular. You have to be careful of numbers, religion,
Yeah.
politics. So yes, everything makes a difference.
Yeah. That was a very interesting story, to be
Yes,
honest.
very.
Now, I want to move on to your outlook for the iGaming industry. Let's say 5 to 10 years from now.
5 to 10 years from now, in Asia, I see my best bet is India. I know it's a bit, but India are very, very open. First of all, it's a huge population, 1.6 billion. And they are really open for esports and social gaming, and yes, so it's very popular. The problem is that they are per state. There is no one local national license, so they have, yes. So unless they go together and agree to have one national license, then it won't grow. However, the potential there is, and there's a lot of software developer, a lot. Um, their mobile, the games on the mobile is huge there, obviously social games. So yes, I would like to explore more about India, and yes, I think in 10 years
10 years.
times we'll see a huge outbreak, let's say.
That's very interesting. I was surprised that you mentioned India, and
Yes,
earlier you mentioned Sri Lanka. This year we'll have our very first Sigma South Asia, so that region, it's really growing. So thank you so much for
yes.
sharing your
Thank you.
insights.